Hey everyone, Seymour Balzac here, and it's patch day. So let's go over this, what I think is a pretty good patch. To start off, I normally just review the patch notes, but for some reason the patch notes for this patch don't have the series drop information. But I did confirm in game that the series drop did happen. I had Shuri pinned in my shop, and she dropped from 6,000 tokens to 3,000 tokens. So that confirms the series drop is live. For those of you that don't know, the series drop, we have Super Skrull, Shuri, Black Panther, Valkyrie, and Bast going from Series 5 to Series 4. And we have She-Hulk, Absorbing Man, Titania, and Luke Cage going from Series 4 to Series 3. So for those of you that are Series 3 complete, if you don't have any of those cards being dropped, you'll basically get those very soon. And if you're not Series 3 complete, well, now you got a chance of just opening those from your reserves, essentially. And then you're also guaranteed one Series 4 card every 40 reserves. So you now have like a decent chance at getting those Series 5 cards that are being dropped to Series 4, where you essentially had no chance before because the Series 5 pull rate is so low. So this is really exciting. I'm really excited to get my hands on Absorbing Man, get buy Sherry from the shop. Those are some really high power cards that I'm excited to play with. And I wish everyone the best in opening their reserves, and I hope they get blessed with Absorbing Mans and Sherry's and whatever cards you wanted. Now that we have the series drops covered, let's get into the patch notes. So we have a new feature, and the new feature is friendly battles. For those of you that don't know, friendly battles work like this. You have 10 health each. First person to get reduced to 0 health loses. And basically, any cube you would have lost in that match is 1 HP lost. So if you lost a 4 cube game, you'll lose 4 HP. And then on top of that, once you get to the 5th battle and onwards, the match automatically starts snapped. So it starts at 2 cubes, and as soon as one person snaps, it goes to 4, and that's it. Like you can't have a second person snap, it's just one person snap. It's still maximum of 8, but it already starts snapped in order to speed it up to prevent, long grindy battles. That way we don't end up in, a 20 match like round where everyone's just retreating for 1 cube, right? So, well, I guess it would be 19 matches. Both people can't lose. But, anyways, so I really like that. I think that's a good, elegant solution to still kind of keep the friendly battles short and in the spirit of Marvel Snap's, short gameplay. I'm really excited to see how the competitive scene develops now that we have this, because now they can start doing tournaments and things like that. I'm going to be really interested in following how the competitive and tournament scene meta develops versus the ladder meta. So when you're doing the friendly battles, it's the same deck. You don't change decks. So unless you, I don't think the high rolly surprise decks will be as good in the tournament scene, because unless in that game one you can get the surprise 8 cube victory and then just eke out 2 more cubes throughout the match, I don't think those decks will be the best. I think since it's over several matches and your opponent's going to know what you're playing, I think it'll be more consistent decks that are better for the tournament scene. Whereas for ladder, I find what matters more is the high rolly surprise decks that can get 8 cubes, even if their win rate's below 50%. If you retreat for 1 cube every time and you win 8 cubes every time, it doesn't matter how bad your win rate is, as long as it's, above like 12%, you're fine, right? So I think there will be like different metas evolving, and it's going to be interesting to see how that develops. And I'm really excited again for the competitive scene of Marvel Snap. This was much needed, and I wish everyone the best in the upcoming tournaments. And I hope it really does take off. I think this game will be a fun game to watch for sure. And then we have the balance updates. So we have leader, which got completely reworked. It's now a 6/7, and it copies all cards your opponent played to the location to the right, but on your side. So basically, you play leader, and anything they played in the lane to the right gets copied to your side. So leader can't copy anything played in the left lane, um, and I find now, I really like this change. I don't think it nerfed it into the ground, but it makes it a much more situational card. It requires like a bit more thought on your setup, and it requires a bit more thought when playing it too. You kind of have to just it'll involve more predicting what your opponent is doing. Whereas now, right now with leader, it's just, oh, I'm winning in 2 lanes, drop leader, I win, right? So I really like this change. I'm still gonna try leader. I think it still has a spot. Um, it's just not going to be like the auto win if you're up that it currently is. The only concern I have about this change is leader, I think, was the main thing keeping Deathwave in check. I think Deathwave is an incredibly strong deck with She-Hulk, and now everyone's going to have She-Hulk now that it's in Series 3. So I'm a little worried that maybe She-Hulk might run rampant, or not She-Hulk, Deathwave might run rampant after this leader change. We'll have to see, but that's definitely something worth keeping an eye on. And I'll definitely be trying some Deathwave now that we've had the leader nerf or the leader rework, um, to see kind of how strong is it now that it's harder to counter because that was the main counter to that deck. We also have a huge buff to Wolverine. It's now a 2/2, but when it's discarded or destroyed, you regenerate it to a random location with +2 power. So I will definitely be trying Wolverine in a destroy deck. As I mentioned, I'm looking at trying Deathwave anyways, so I'm going to try it in there. I'll try it in my Deadpool deck, which I love my Deadpool deck. It's not the best deck, but it's so much fun. Wolverine, much needed buff. I'm really happy they buffed it. It's such an iconic character, and it was such a bad card. So awesome, awesome job. The only thing I'm disappointed about in this patch is it's missing two things. It's missing a Surfer nerf and it's missing a Zabu nerf. And basically, what they said is by the time they locked in these changes a couple weeks ago, there wasn't enough data on Surfer and Zabu overperforming to nerf them just yet. Which I find that a little surprising because Surfer has been overperforming since it released, and anyone with half a brain could see that Zabu was going to be anywhere from extremely strong to completely broken on release. So I don't necessarily like this trend they have of releasing the paid Battle Pass card. Like Surfer was by far the best 3 drop when released, like not even close. And then Zabu passed it as the next paid card as the best 3 drop. And then they're not nerfing them, in the next balance patch, which again, it's the paid card, so it makes you wonder if there's some motivation behind there to not take a bit longer to nerf them, which doesn't feel good because right now the meta is very stale. It's just all Zabu, all Surfer, with a little bit of leader splashed in. And quite frankly, I've stopped trying to climb to infinite this season because it's just boring. I've just started playing meme decks in the 80s and I'm having way more fun. It's incredibly boring, being in the 80s and 90s, going up against already infinite players that are just spamming top tier Zabu and Surfer decks nonstop, right? Like, so I really wish there was a Surfer and Zabu nerf, just at the very least to mix up the meta a little bit. But the one thing they did mention was previously they needed a patch to nerf and buff things. They no longer need that. So maybe we get like a Surfer and Zabu nerf like next week, hopefully, because the meta definitely needs a bit of a shakeup. But overall, good patch. The downgrades are awesome, as I mentioned in a previous video. I like the changes to Leader and Wolverine. I think those are very well done, and I love the addition of friendly battles. So let me know what you think of this patch in the comments, and let me know what you think the nerf to Zabu and Surfer should be as well. In the meantime, I hope everyone enjoys the new content, and until next time.